Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game and Pubcast episode number 15. Just myself and Duncan tonight. How
Hello.
are you, Duncan?
All good. All good. It's been a week where I played lots of games,
That's
not
good.
just
I'm
one game.
glad. I'm glad you said that, Duncan, because it's just the two of us, so we've got to make up for Tom in terms of our talking tonight. But I'm sure there's one man who can do that. It's yourself, Duncan. So I think it's probably best to start with you. Let's go through. I don't know.
Well,
Where
what
do
I've
you want
been
to start?
playing? What I've been playing? Well, if we go with the modern game that I've been playing, Gotham Knights, because that's come to Game Pass. I think a couple of weeks ago now, and I finally got around to start playing with it. And it's basically like the Batman games kind of thing. I don't think it's not made by the same people, but it is in that kind of vein. It's like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not quite as interesting though. It's an open world, so you have to go from one place to another, and there's missions in certain places. Granted, I've only played for about 3 hours so far, so there might be lots of things that I haven't unlocked. But you'll be traversing around the city. One thing is boring. You just get on a motorbike and you just drive, and the motorbike isn't very interesting. The world isn't that exciting. When you've had worlds like whether it's Starfield, Baldur's Gate, Witcher 3, that it's just boring to just sit on a motorbike and have to go across the whole map. So yeah, it's a bit annoying because you have a night to finish a load of missions. You have the main mission, and once you've done that, you can end the night. And quite often you're like, oh, I can't be bothered to go across the rest of the city because there's not.
No quick travel.
I haven't unlocked any fast travel yet. There is only the base, but if you go back to the base, that ends the night.
Okay.
The fighting isn't quite as fluid as the Batman games.
Yeah.
It's basic sort of push a button and you aim at somebody or you try and hit somebody, but it doesn't quite feel as fluid as Batman, like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, so they're pretty classic though, aren't they? Those Batman games.
No, the fighting worked really well. It looked really good. It's sort of there, but not quite. Not quite.
Yeah, it's also been released on PlayStation Plus, which I haven't downloaded. So I don't know. They must have done a deal with both Microsoft and Sony for whatever reason. I don't know if they've got any like new games coming out or.
Well, recently it's been on things like Humble Bundle or Humble Choice and whatnot. So I think probably they're just trying to get their money back right now, because I don't think it sold. I think they said that it didn't sell anywhere near as well as they would have liked, and I think they've just gone, right, let's cut our losses and get the money from Game Pass, get the money from PlayStation, get the money from Humble Choice, and quantity over quality kind of thing. Don't sell it for £60 because people won't buy it. People aren't buying it. Why don't we sell it for pennies and see if we can get rid of 2 million kind of thing? And yeah, is it worth? Is it worth sort of a £20 game? Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it looks decent. As I said, I've played for 3 hours, and I don't think I've dented much of the story. And you can choose from 4 characters. Each has their own strengths, but there doesn't seem that much difference. It's basically still just beat everybody up. There is timing. You can time with the fighting, pressing the buttons in time and dodging and all this. So it isn't bad. It's just it's up against its big brother of the Batman series of games.
Yeah.
Which, if you want a linear one, which is very good, Arkham Asylum is probably still my favourite, the first one. But if you do want an open world, that's probably just as boring, I think, but maybe a little bit more interesting than this one, then you got Arkham City. So it's unfortunately it's a victim of its Big Brother's success.
Yeah,
So,
I have played Arkham Asylum. That's it is a good game, isn't it?
so good with all the detective stuff, and there is a similar mechanic in this where you can hold down a button and scan things, but it's I don't know. Maybe it's just me being grumpy, but it's a solid sort of 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not a bad game, and if somebody can pick it up for nowadays on PC, you can probably pick it up for a fiver. But if you're going to pay anything up to £20 for it, you'll get a decent return on your investment. But I certainly wouldn't pay £60 for it. No,
if you've got PlayStation Plus or Game Pass,
indeed.
worth giving it a go.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. If you've got Game Pass or PS Plus, definitely give it a go. But yeah, so I mean, before I get on to mostly for the rest of the week, I've been playing PS1 and PS2 games. So before I start ranting or applauding those, have you been playing anything?
Yeah, well, let's get me out of the way then, because it'll be a lot less than what you've been playing. So I've been continuing to play Callisto Protocol. So
Yes.
I don't get much time to play games. I try and play games maybe on lunch breaks and stuff when I'm working at home, because in the evenings, after everyone's gone to bed and stuff, it's doing like house chores, which isn't very exciting. But I've probably done a few hours of Callisto Protocol, and according to the progression on my PlayStation, I've done about 37%. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be a massive game, because going by that, I should be done in about 3 or 4 more hours of playing the game. But so far, I've enjoyed it. It is pretty jumpy. It is usually when I play games, I put the settings on like normal because I like it to be somewhat of a challenge. But this is a game where I put it on easy just because I'm like, it's scary enough. And then when I do bump into them, I do want to know that I'm going to be okay. But there are some, there's been some tricky bits, but more to do with not the monsters. But there was one bit where I'm trying to escape this bit, and they put a trap in, but you got to like time it, and then at the same time you're getting attacked as well. I died quite a few times on that because it's I'm trying to. It's like a car wash with spikes on it essentially, and it comes across the floor, and then you got to like run into like the bits where you can run into where they.
Excuse me, sir. I went in to clean my car today, and it just tore me into 1,000 pieces.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just I've been playing that. For those who haven't played it, or no, for those who have played it, I'm on I think it's Habitat is what I'm on now, because it's like in different sections. So there's the initial bit, and then I did Aftermath, which is the one I just did, and now I'm on Habitat. So essentially, what seems to be happening in the story is that they have like an idea plan of what you're going to do. So it was like get to a tram, and then you get there and then something's gone wrong, and then you got to do something else. And there was one bit where it's like, oh, get this prisoner out. She can help you. Got her out. She screwed me over. And then I'm doing an extra bit now. And now I'm being sent off somewhere else because something went wrong. So it's just stuff going wrong constantly, and you then have to, which is good because it prolongs the game. I guess if you just got to the tram straight away, it would have been an hour game.
Just look after yourselves.
And then the other
quite
game,
gory, isn't it?
It is very gory.
Death animations of the monsters and stuff, and for you, I think, don't you?
Yeah, when you die, it like does it in like a cut. So you can skip it if you don't want to watch your character get his limbs ripped off. But they have like it's like Dead Space.
Was it like a behind the deluxe edition or something? You got about 4 extra death animations or something. And I think they were hoping to bring out more. But yeah, it's they've announced for a Game Pass that Dead Space is coming to.
Yeah, I did see that.
I presume part of EA Play, so I presume it's going to be coming to EA Play, which is on other platforms as well. But obviously, I haven't played the Dead Space remake, so I would love to play the Callisto Protocol first, because I don't want to play the Dead Space remake and then go to Callisto Protocol and go, oh, well,
Yeah, from what I've read, most people prefer the Dead Space
Hmm.
than Callisto, but I'm enjoying it. It is what it is. You're not gonna. It's very
It's not a
linear.
game of the year.
It's not a game of the year. It's very linear. You can't. I mean, you can explore, but you are very much on a path, and it's stuff cut off. If it doesn't want you to go somewhere, they just cut it off or whatever. But which sometimes is quite nice playing a game like that, because there are games where you just get lost and it becomes difficult.
Yeah,
But
no, the Metroidvania ones nowadays, I don't have. Back in the day, in the 90s or maybe the 80s, I think there was one called Turrican that was on, I think, most platforms. I think Nintendo to Sinclair Spectrum and everything. But ever since back in those days, I'd get the magazines and find the
yeah,
maps and
guides and
all this kind of thing. But nowadays, I can't be bothered, to be honest. It's like you've
yeah,
got to
I
go
mean,
all the way back through this place that you've just worked all your way through just to get, a seed or a box or something. It's like, yeah.
it has. Yeah, I mean, there has been certain games where it's more to do with I just don't know where to go, which makes the game hard. Whereas rather than the actual game itself, so it is quite nice sometimes where it's just like I know I need to go here, and then yeah. The other game I've been playing, so talking about linear games, Shovel Knight. I mean, you can't really get much more linear than Shovel Knight. There are
never,
a bit extra
never
sections you
played
can
that.
go. Really good,
Okay.
really difficult
Well, I
though.
say I never played it. I think I've literally played it for 5 minutes, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, so I've only played it for about an hour or so. And I've done a few levels on it, and it is really difficult. It's already
It's tough
been
as nails,
difficult.
isn't it? I've heard.
Yeah, it's platformer essentially, but then you have a boss at the end of each go. That luckily there are quite a lot of checkpoints within the level, so it's not so. If you die, it's not so.
You haven't got to
Trying to
do
think of
half
the
an hour
word.
of
Yeah,
impossible
exactly.
platforming again.
Exactly. Yeah, there are bits. So, I mean, I was playing it today, and there was one bit which took me ages, and it was just jumping, but the platforms would disappear, so you'd have to do it quite quickly, but at the same time there was things that were getting in the way, so you had to time it as well. And it was right at the checkpoint was right before that jumping bit, so they obviously knew it was quite a difficult section, but still once you got right near the end and then you just didn't jump onto the ladder, it was, I didn't scream because I'm an adult with children, but 10-year-old me would have been throwing my remote control at the TV
Oh
at that
yes.
bit.
I,
It was
I don't mind
very frustrating, but
some difficult platformers. Things like, I mean, Super Meat Boy. I mean, I'm never going to complete the later levels, but the fact that you literally die and the millisecond you die, you reappear and can try again. It means, yeah, I don't mind dying 30, 40, 50, 100 times
yeah,
because it's just all one big continuous trying for it.
I think that is the main bit. As long as there's enough checkpoints in there that it's not so harsh if you die. Like back in the day when you were playing like Donkey Kong Country, if you died right at the end of right before another checkpoint, you were having to do sometimes the whole level again, and it was that was demoralizing when you had to do that. So yeah, I don't mind going over stuff as long as it's like just puts you sort of near where you are. And it's good. There's like other campaigns on there as well, but I've only just doing the main one. But you can do different characters, and they have different stories on there.
I mean, it's
You
Shovel
can,
Knight
like,
because the main character is a
they've
knight with
got
a
a
shovel,
shovel.
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So you dig up, you hit the enemies with a shovel, but you can dig up stuff like treasure while you're out. And then I mean, I've got a wand now, which I have fires that fireball, but you get that like through the level, and then you can pick up magic. You can make your life bar, so you can buy extra life. But if you die, you lose all like your money, but then you can go back to where you die and pick it up. So, little things like that. But But yeah, so far it's it's good game. It's very much like
It's
90s
definitely
music
one that
as well.
you could
Yeah,
pick up and play for a few minutes if you got spare 5 minutes, kind of thing.
yeah, and it is quite like addictive though. So if you do go on it, you end up you're like, oh, I'll try and do one more level. But if I'm on my lunch break, obviously I've got to restrain from that, otherwise I wouldn't get any work done. But that's me anyway. So what PlayStation
Well,
games have you been playing then?
well, I thought I'd go for an alphabetical kind of thing. So I had a load of ones at the beginning of the alphabet kind of thing. First of all, I've played Astro Boy on the PS2.
Okay.
I purposely, these games that I haven't heard of, I purposely haven't looked up any reviews. I haven't looked up whether they're good, bad, cheats, anything like that. And yeah, Astro Boy is not very good. I've looked up reviews since playing it,
Yeah.
and yes, then the reviews are not very kind. Which is a shame because it had like an anime cartoon intro that was a bit weird because it's got the characters in it are all like these like big nose kind of almost like Squidward kind of noses, and yeah, I don't know, they look like what's it called, Studio Ghibli maybe kind of thing. But then you got this Astro Boy that's a robot thing or boy or yeah. Anyway, it had quite a nice looking cartoon intro, anime intro, and yeah, I was like, oh, maybe this will be an interesting game. And then it came on. It looked bright. It looked crisp. And then the actual movement and fighting,
Gameplay.
everything came in, and it was like, this is not very good at all. So yeah, I maybe played it. I could manage to play it for about 45 minutes, an hour, and I didn't really get that far, really, because there was like a little city section, and then there was hoops that you had to fly through, and I couldn't quite work out whether it wanted me to fly through ones that were sort of one after each other, but then I'd come to an end and nothing would happen. Have I got to get rid of all of them? But then they started to reappear. So I'm like, what is the point of them? So I went to my home and yeah, it just, it wasn't very good. It's basically hovers around 54 out of 100 on Metacritic, and I think that's probably being generous. It's definitely like a 4 out of 10 kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's not. The fighting is it just wobbles his hand a bit a bit at the enemies, and no, not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Astro Boy is Japanese manga, isn't it? Like it's a comic series.
I went in there completely with no knowledge of who he was or what he did or anything. But yes, I mean, it's definitely, it's very Japanese.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the story, I'm sure it had about how he was created. The intro did. It was almost created by accident, I think, or something. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, for me, 4 out of 10. It's it reminded me of all these games that come out for things like Dragon Ball Z and everything, where fans of the cartoon love it, and anybody who loves gaming is like, no thanks.
You're not a fan of the Dragon Ball Z games, then?
Yeah, I'm yet to find one that grabs me. I mean, I'm not a fan of all that kind of stuff. Don't hate it, just never really seen any of it. But yeah, I've played a couple of the games, and they're not.
It's like it is a difficult game. So I've played it, but I've enjoyed it, but I played it not knowing really what I'm doing. And then when you do play someone who does know what they're doing, because my friend, he don't really play them anymore, but used to, like the PS2 sort of PlayStation 3. He had the Dragon Ball Z, and he was really good at them. And sometimes we'd fight, and it was just not even a contest. He would try and make it as as in my favor as possible, and I still just like he would start charging up to be Super Saiyan. There was times where he would be Krillin, and he would say that's like I think the worst sort of character you could be. And still, it was just impossible.
Bit one-sided.
Yeah, because there's a lot to it in terms of like charging up and knowing when to attack and sort of things like that. Whereas I would just go in full guns blazing, throwing everything at him, and you would just. But anyway, Duncan, to Astro Boy.
Another one I played was Apocalypse. It's a PS1 game. I don't know whether you heard of this when it came out. It was one where they had Bruce Willis. And apparently I've read up since that what it was, they recorded him, his voice, and they had his likeness for the game. He was meant to be a sidekick, but then they realised that nobody actually wanted Bruce Willis as a sidekick. They wanted to be Bruce Willis, so they made him the main character. So that's why some of the comments that the character makes, it's all a bit like, who are you talking to? You've just destroyed everything. But it's basically a twin stick shooter, but because it was from when the DualShock was new, so it was PS1, you could also use the X, square, circle, and triangle buttons to shoot in certain directions. And it was this big budget, meant to be this big movie game, and it came out and it was just a boring twin stick shooter with Bruce Willis. And if you watch the intro, I remember watching the intro thinking, did they get Bruce Willis or did they get Vin Diesel? Because that looks a bit Vin Diesel-y. But it was when Bruce Willis was about 25 years younger than he is now. So younger than Vin Diesel is now, technically. And yeah, it looks very, for a PS1 game, it looks all right. And yeah, back in those days, it was great to have the full voice of a big movie star. But I remember they bigged it up. I remember when it came out, and they bigged it up and bigged it up and bigged it up. And when it came out, the reviews were like, the game's okay. But that was it. It was just okay. So it flopped. And it kept me interested, as in sort of I didn't go, this is boring, and turned it off. I enjoyed the weapons. The weapons felt like they had some meat to it. Some of what Bruce Willis says is funny or appropriate, but most of the time it's just him shouting out random things about people dying and whatnot. So it's not that exciting. It's not that exciting. It's you don't play the game just for that. So yeah, it's okay. It's like Gotham Knights. It's okay. I'd quite happily maybe watch through to the end. But nowadays we've got YouTube, so rather than play through, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours of the twin stick shooter, just watch the rather poorly made CGI, which actually for the PS1 era was actually not too bad. But that actually gone to my next one, which I don't think I'll put in my little list. I've also played, which actually isn't in the AB thing, but I had this one downloaded. It was Star Trek Shattered Universe, and I believe it is a PS1 game. Oh my God, one of the main characters in it is Sulu, and it looks like they've put rubber skin on a skeleton in the cutscenes. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, I can imagine George Takei probably looks back at it now and is just, it's just, really? That was me? Because you could just about tell it's him, but no, it's not good. I'd recommend people look that up on YouTube. So it's Star Trek Shattered Universe. It's basically a space shooter, and it's I think it's PS1. And when you've got such good shooters as like the Ace Combat games, and back in those days with the PC, maybe Free Space. It's not that great. It's a 5 out of 10 for me.
Compare.
It just doesn't quite feel right, and your weapons never feel like they're aiming correctly, or and they're never quite connecting. You just feel like almost it's like somebody with their fingers going pew pew pew. Wasn't particularly keen.
When you mentioned Armageddon, I was thinking there's quite a few, like especially PlayStation era Bruce Willis games, isn't there? Because you got Armageddon, which I didn't know
Die
about.
Hard trilogy. Apocalypse. Is called.
Apocalypse. Sorry, not Armageddon.
Die Hard trilogy.
Die Hard trilogy, and then the Fifth Element. That they had a game, didn't they?
Yes.
And he was in that as well. So.
But then again, he was very prolific in the 90s, wasn't he? So,
yeah,
I think that was his post Die Hard, like brilliant films kind of thing. Although he had some stinkers as well. But no, he was in quite a few. Yeah, I was trying to think of any other movie star that was in a. Then again, we talked about Minority Report in the early 2000s, and that was not Tom Cruise. So I'm presuming they didn't get the rights to him for a video game.
Sylvester Stallone's been in a few games like Rocky, and then there was Judge Dredd. He was Judge Dredd as well, wasn't he? So just looking at the reviews.
Was it his likeness in the Judge Dredd game? Was it?
I played Judge Dredd. To be fair, when I played it, I wasn't looking at in there there's a driver game as well, aren't there?
There was driver game, but that was nobody famous.
No, but there's a film. It might not be called Drive, but Sylvester Stallone. I think it's to do with
Death Race. Was it Death Race?
I mean, there's Rambo games as well. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
I think it was Death Race. Death Race 3000, I want to say, was the movie. I don't know if there's a game. Because
it's a game. It's not the film is about
Death Race 2000. No,
it is about driving, but I'm gonna have to.
Death Race 2000 he was in. That was from the 1970s, 1975. But he was only like third on the list. It was mostly David Carradine.
Driven.
You haven't
it's Driven.
Driven.
Game, yeah, so that was what the film was called. I'm sure there was a game as well. I might be wrong.
Maybe.
But the Rambo games as well. So there was quite a few Rambo games, weren't there?
Oh, maybe we'll have to do a little thing of that. The best celebrity in a game.
Yeah, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Tom Cruise.
I can't think. I mean, nowadays there's so many famous people put their likeness, or obviously for movies it's quite popular, especially for you've had the Bond games. Speaking of which. That was a game that I played this week. I played, I suppose, what is basically a sequel to GoldenEye, which I played 007, The World Is Not Enough. But I didn't play anywhere past the first level because I got stuck. I have no idea how to complete it. And I didn't have time to look up a walkthrough or anything. I got through the metal detector. I got through to the round where you automatically pull your gun out and it says, this is a secure level, so you've got to kill everybody. I don't know. But anyway, I killed everybody. And then there's a door that's locked. And I cannot for the life of me work out how to open it. It's in the very first level. And when I have time, I will look up how to open it. So right now it's a 1 out of 10 kind of thing because I'm completely stuck.
Yeah, not
but
good.
That's me. Yeah. I probably just haven't found something yet. But yeah, it just seems like, and the reviews have said it's not quite as good as GoldenEye, but it is it's okay, serviceable. It has
You
like the
can get past the
automatic
first.
aiming kind of thing because it was back from before the DualShock, so you couldn't aim with the controller. Well, you couldn't aim very well. You can't look up and down.
Did it have multiplayer on it, like GoldenEye?
I don't know. Maybe I shall have to look that up.
Okay.
But maybe we'll come back with that future week.
Yeah.
And probably the game that I'm going to most rave about this week that I've gone back to that I did actually play when it came out was Burnout 3. Fantastic game.
Yeah.
Still a fantastic game. I think I prefer Burnout Paradise because that was a later game from the 360 era and probably the arcade driving was a bit better. But still, it's an arcade. After playing Forza Horizon and stuff, I think the driving is a bit, But then it's an arcade game. It's arcade game about crashing and destroying other things, and then you've got the crash mode, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, that's the mode that I would play the most when I had Burnout, was just how many points you could get for the best crash.
And the points are so big that you sit there with your friends and you take it in turns, and somebody would get 227,000, and then you'd get 400,000. They'd be like, "How did you do that?" And then they'd get 450,000. But then you get to a point where it's like they got 451,000, and then you got 451,020 kind of thing. So, it's just so good with friends.
It was good, addictive as well. You just
and then they got rid of that mode for, I think, Burnout Paradise, wasn't it, or was it Burnout 4?
I don't. As much as I like the Burnout games, I haven't played them all. So definitely had Burnout 3. That was probably the last one I played, which obviously
Burnout Paradise was open world, and so it had all the restrictions, but equally the opportunities with that, and the crashing looked so good on it. Even nowadays, it still looks. The fact that it came out in the Xbox 360 era. And even nowadays, it still looks pretty good.
Holds up.
Burnout 3, fantastic game. It's not a 10 out of 10, but for its time, it was good. And
just having a look while you're talking about it, and then its reviews were like 94%. So that
it holds up nowadays. If you play it with the kids. Both of us as dads, if you get it, this is what you don't do on the streets, boys and girls. It's so good, and the crash mode is one that you could actually play with little kids, so they don't have to be able to.
Yeah, because it's not too much about skill, is it? It's just
you just aim for that jump and crash. There you go.
See what happens, and then press the button at the right time or whatever.
You had after control where you had to hold a button down and you could steer into other vehicles. I think
back then I did really like Burnout 3, but I think I more was into the Need for Speed games back then, just because I quite like the building a car, and then I was sort of at the age where I'd not yet driving, but getting to that age, I was starting to think about driving. Not that when I passed my test, I had a M-Reg Renault Clio, so like about a 20-year-old Renault Clio, so nothing like what I had on Need for Speed, and it probably could go about, I don't know. Actually, I did take it on the motorway once, and I just for the thrill of it, I was like, I'm gonna try and get it up to 100, which I surely shouldn't be saying on a podcast.
You're not a good racer, are you?
No, I got it, and then as soon as I did it, I just took my foot off the accelerator and went right back down. I was just like, I just wanted to say that I've been to 100 like once. And
I think the car probably didn't.
The car felt like it was about to like take off when it was like shaking all over the place. But so it wasn't. But the reality, it wasn't like Need for Speed when I actually passed. It was no NOS.
Don't do that, kids.
No, be sensible. But
So I have played one good game this week. To say, obviously, World is not enough. I don't know if it's a good game, its reviews say it's okay. Yeah, it's good. Apparently, what game was it I was playing that was not very good on? I think it was Astro Boy. Astro Boy, the game. Was it that one that was? No, there was a game I was playing that. I think it was actually it might be The World Is Not Enough. There was a game I was playing this week, and I read reviews, and I was like, "Oh, blimey, that was reviewed quite well." But I realised that was the N64 version.
Okay.
Might be The World Is Not Enough, but still, I shall play some more games and report back.
And talking of bad games, Duncan.
Oh yeah,
and not that they were all bad, but going on to what's coming out, because there has been quite a few games that have are coming out or have come out. I'll get it out of the way. I'll get the worst out of the way. I don't know if you've seen the reviews or any of the footage of Skull Island, The Rise of Kong, but it's
I saw an article.
Gollum to be the worst game of the year. The IGN review, just at the first bit, and like it's bold, is a boring, buggy, totally unambitious game. I hadn't read the review, but that's all I said. I have seen gameplay from it. It does look like you're watching a game PS2, like maybe.
Yes,
like maybe,
I'd say
like maybe
PS2. It
PS3
looks like
if
a
I'm being
PS2
generous.
game.
It looks like a PS2, and it looks like it plays like it because it's very.
Looks like it plays like a poor PS2 game. I think it would give Astro Boy a run for its money. At least Astro Boy sort of looked pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know.
it's.
I don't get why they're making games when they could. Is it a money
Apparently,
thing?
the company
why would they just not?
Who make this are a company who have a history of this, where they get a cheap license and they just make a shovelware game with it. But yeah, just the fact that it just looks so bad. And apparently, yeah, just with all the bugs and the how there must be somebody somewhere that works at that company that's like, oh god, what have I done? How are we releasing this?
I feel bad because I've never played it, so it might be better than people say, but it doesn't look good. And from the reviews,
I think we could safely say this one. Go with the reviews and don't buy it. Do not buy.
Don't spend £30. Wait till it's on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or something like that.
No. I don't think they'll even bother spending the money on it. But how much is it? Do you know how much it is?
I think it's not like I think it's probably around 20 odd £20, I reckon. I haven't actually looked. I might be wrong.
Skull Island, Rise of Kong. It is £28.
Okay.
Hang on, and that is on sale, so it's £35 normally.
Not good that it's on sale and it's only been out for 2 days. I think it only came out this week. So
there's one review on Xbox.com and it's 1 star.
Okay.
So for the Xbox it's £35. I'm going to guess it's roughly the same on most platforms.
But the Gollum people who made Gollum are currently celebrating. Well, at least we may not be the worst game of this year.
Yes, I presume there's a gaming version of the Razzies where, the Gollum developers will be like, oh, thank God.
We have a competition. Though more positive, because there are some actual good games that have been released or are going to be released.
Let's face it, there's two, isn't there? There's two main ones.
Which are being really positively reviewed. So you've got Spider-Man 2, which is coming out on the 20th of October. So it's the 19th we're speaking at the moment, which has got a 92 rating on Metacritic at the moment. I did play the original Spider-Man, so
yeah, I've got it on PC.
It's a good game.
There.
No, I haven't even though it's on PlayStation Plus, so no really excuse for me not to play it. But I haven't yet, but yeah, the original. Well, I say the original. There's been loads of Spider-Man games, but the one that came out
The
initially,
PS4 one.
the PS4 one was really good. Yeah, like going around New
Yeah, I mean
York,
the
getting the
apparently
different
the
suits.
momentum is all there. You know, the moving through the city is still there, and it works really well. The combat is satisfying.
Yeah,
And yeah, so hopefully, as long as the story is there, and the which I haven't really read any full reviews yet, but yeah, as long as there's a good story again, and then yeah, it's already getting rave reviews, so yeah, it's going to
yeah.
be a big seller. And do you think you'll get it, or do you think you'll be waiting till it's on PS Plus?
I probably won't get it straight away. I don't know if I'll wait all the way because usually it's like you're probably going to be waiting for about a year, I imagine, before it comes on PlayStation Plus. Um, but yeah, I won't be spending 60, 70 pound to play it at the moment. Maybe if it comes down in price, I'll probably give it a go because yeah, I did like the original. This one's getting good reviewed as well. But another game getting good reviews, better reviews actually, is the new Mario game, Wonder, which has got I think 94 when I last on Metacritic.
Oh, nice.
Nintendo, they know how to make a good game, don't they?
Yes,
So
it's again like you
you,
said, it's getting rave reviews,
yeah, I mean you
and it's
on 93 actually. I just had a look, but still pretty good.
it's hovering around there. But yes, it's colourful. I mean, for the Switch, I mean, I know it's just a 2D platformer, but it looks very pretty for something on the hardware of the Switch. I mean, I know it's not some 20-year-old mobile phone kind of thing, but equally, it's 8-year-old hardware.
Yeah,
Um, that's basically mobile. There is mobile hardware. Um, so the fact that they're getting something that looks this pretty and runs this smoothly on it, it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, so it's got a it's a 2D Mario. It's the first original 2D Mario for quite a while.
yeah,
And I will be playing it to death, I think. Because I'm much more of a fan of the 2D, I think I've come to establish. Every 3D Mario I played, I've liked them. I like them, but I always find myself drawn more to completing the 2D ones. Yeah, so
yeah. There are, and you just know with Nintendo it will be good gameplay, won't it? Like,
yeah, the fact that you can be an elephant and and there's you can also play. I think if you don't count all the different colours, there's the two princesses. Was it Daisy and Peach? You've got Mario, Luigi, Toad, Yoshi, and Nabi. Nabi. I don't know who it is, but it's like some little. I don't know what it is. it's um, so it's a little character with two ears. I don't know. But anyway, you could be whatever character you want. I don't think they have necessarily different powers, or where previous games like that, you've had some of them can jump higher and some of them can jump further
yeah,
or
some
go
of it
faster.
faster. Yeah,
But
yeah.
don't quote me on this, but I don't think that that's the case this time. I think they all jump the same. I think they might look different when they're doing things, but they all do the same. But
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll
yeah,
find out when it's released. But yeah, 3D World is where like the different characters do act different. So Toad is really quick. Peach, because she has her dress, she can like glide. So you jump and you can jump again, and which is probably the most useful one, especially when it's a platformer, because you can just make sure you're jumped right all the time. But yeah,
I think in Wonder you have different. I think you have different badges which give you different abilities, but they can all wear these badges. You have a little character prince something or other, and one of the badges you have is a hat that you can glide slowly. And there are special levels where it will tell you to use the hat because that's how you complete this. Like it'll be a bonus level or something. And then there's race levels, which you race against. In the one that I've seen, a centipede, like kind of thing, a caterpillar. And yeah, it just looks like it's really clever, but it still has the simplicity of being just a 2D platformer, and that's I think what Mario's always done very well. It's had little extra abilities in the game, but at its heart, it's just a 2D platformer, which is why I think I said to you earlier. It reminds me of this game reminds me a bit more of Rayman. Because
Legends, yeah,
because in Rayman you had the race levels, you had the levels that were just you run, and if you stopped, you couldn't do the level because it all was timed perfectly.
Catch you up as well,
And the fact that you have different characters, but they all do the same thing in Rayman. So Rayman Legends and Origins is still for me an absolute classic game,
and it's really good with multiplayer as well. Rayman Legends, a game it's better like the Wii U version. Not to go on about the Wii U, it seems like I do that every game. But if on the 2-player one, someone can be on the screen and someone will be, and there's bits where you have to do stuff on the screen and the other person has to do stuff on the actual, TV or whatever, and it just works like really, really well. I mean, it's good on all consoles, but especially good on the Wii U because it just works. I mean, obviously you probably can do the same with the Switch, but I've never played it on the Switch. So
if we go to like Super Mario Brothers World versus versus Rayman Legends, which I think Legends was all of the previous Origins plus a load of extras as well, wasn't it? New stuff. So Rayman Legends, basically. I would pick Rayman Legends personally because it had so much variety and stuff you could collect and things like that. And yeah, it's really good, really good. And Super Mario World, an absolutely amazing classic game.
Yeah,
but Super Mario Legends just was fantastic. And so hopefully, I mean, I think it gives me some Rayman vibes with how colourful it is and how it moves from what I've seen. And
which isn't a bad game to be compared to.
No, this is the. I don't think it's. I don't think it's bad and I don't think it's moved away from Mario too far. But if it's taken in some Rayman kind of feel to it, that's a very good thing in my eyes. Very good thing. So hey, if people can't afford Super Mario, get Rayman Legends. Absolutely brilliant game. I think it's probably available for pennies as well.
You probably could get it quite cheap, and it is available on most consoles, isn't it?
And I think there's about probably
it's on the PlayStation
150 levels in it as well because it's got a whole original game in Rayman Legends plus all of Rayman Origins. So don't get Rayman Origins. I think that's what it is. I think that's Legends is the one that's got Origins as well. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, one of them has got about 150 levels.
Legends is the bigger one, that where you like jump into the pictures.
The musical levels where it's all in time with the music. They're all classic rock music. Yeah, really good, really good.
No, definitely.
So Super Mario Wonder, it's out now. So like when this podcast is out, so go get it. And Super Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2
PS5. So Xbox users this week, you're out of luck. I'm afraid but
there are games out on. You got Metal Gear Solid. That's the Master Collection. That's coming out on the 24th.
So what's that? Is that 1, 2, and 3?
I don't know, Duncan. I'm gonna have to Google it now. But yeah, it's Volume 1, so it makes it sound like
it's a good week for Game Pass. Is it Ishin Like a Dragon is out on Game Pass, and so it's the one that's based in 19th century, I want to say. And you've had F1 Manager come out today. You've had Gotham Knights. So yeah, not too bad. And there's some good games coming out, or good-looking games coming out in the next few weeks.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's 1, 2, and 3 by the looks of it. So, and then
I've never played 3. I've never been able to manage to get through it. So maybe I will pick this up.
Maybe it's a way to play it. Yeah, and then Lord of the Rings Return to Moira, which I think we mentioned on the last episode.
Yes,
That's out 24th. Alan Wake 2 is out on the 27th. So
fantastic game.
Few games, which for the Xbox players as well.
Well, I say that Alan Wake 2 is fantastic. Obviously, it hasn't come out yet. It might be terrible, but the first one was a good story. Rob. So hopefully number 2 apparently is a bit more survival-ish, but yeah, no, it should be good.
Right. So should we move on this day?
On this day, we're
talking about games that are coming out. Let's talk about games that have came out.
Well, I think we'll start with the big one, because the big one relates to one of the games that's coming out. Is 38 years ago in Japan. It was in the US, wasn't it? The Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Mario Brothers. 38 years ago. So, as we were saying, you were minus a couple of years, and I was 7. So,
I can't even say I remember it.
We looked up what we think was the cost. It was £99, which doesn't seem like a lot, but back in the 1980s, that was quite a lot of money.
And what we also found out was 2 days later, the Master System came out.
Yes,
we don't know if that was the same. I think it was the same region, but I think it was Japan. But
that was Japan, yeah. But I think it came out in Japan roughly at the same time. The NES. I think it was probably worldwide. Maybe that's why it didn't specify a time. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so you could make your choice.
You have to say Nintendo. Obviously, Nintendo won that battle.
1985, yes, definitely in that first generation.
It wasn't until the Mega Drive came out where it got a bit more competitive. But no, 2 systems that paved the way to where we are now, especially in the NES. And a lot of the games that came out in the original NES, we still like with the Mario games. I think I don't know. Was there? I think there was a Zelda game on the NES. I know there was one on the SNES.
The first Zelda game, I believe, was on NES. Over a overhead view kind of one. Number 2, I think that was the one where there was a map. It was over the head, but then it was like a side scrolling whenever you went into somewhere.
There was a Metroid game that came out that was on theirs as well, wasn't it? So
with the twist that it was a lady at the end, which obviously nowadays we're like,
spoiler alert.
But back then it was like, oh, what? Samus is actually a woman? Yeah. What?
Crazy.
So, I mean, one that does make me, or the few that do make me feel old, is probably Shadow of the Colossus was 18 years ago. Fear was 18 years ago. And Bully was 17 years ago. And the fact that we haven't got a sequel to Bully is really annoying, because that was a damn good game. That was really good game. Really good fun. Although you look back at it now and, oh God, some of the things that happened in that school. I know it's only a video game, but it was just like, wow. I think you could just snog anybody you wanted, couldn't you?
But Rockstar, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, well, nowadays they're about what makes the money, and Bully sequel might not make the money.
No, they don't release many games anymore, do they? Well, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, but then last Grand Theft Auto game was
2013. That was
came out on the PlayStation
10 years ago,
era. And that was still it. Grand Theft Auto 6. Sonic and Knuckles that came out 28 years ago. today.
So that was
Not yet,
Sonic
28 years ago.
3.
29 years ago, sorry.
Sonic and Knuckles was Sonic 3, wasn't it? Or was it
so I
another?
think it's on it. Oh, I don't know. Was there a Sonic and Tails?
Wasn't there a Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and then there was Sonic and Knuckles? I think those are two different games. I don't know. I'm not 100%. But I think wasn't there a problem with the game, or a game wasn't well received, or I don't know. But yeah, still old.
I like it. You could be Knuckles, which I don't know if it was the first appearance of Knuckles, maybe.
But Fallout New Vegas, my favourite Fallout, my favourite Bethesda game, that came out 13 years ago, and yeah, they still haven't surpassed that. Although I do like your Skyrims and your Starfields, but for me, that's still the fun. What was his name, Mr. Robot, that you could have in that. Fantastic game, especially nowadays. The fact that you can run it on a potato, and you can mod it to death. Fantastic game. Battlefield 4, 10 years ago. God, how many? I was always a medic. I was not somebody who was very good at sniping or anything like that. So I was always the one just standing around a corner, just chucking med backs at people. But yeah. And the Devil May Cry, the original Devil May Cry, was 22 years ago. Have you ever been a fan of any of those games?
Yeah. Just hack and slash sort of games, aren't they? But apparently Devil May Cry 5 is meant to be pretty good, which I haven't.
Yeah, I think I've completed it. I think it was on Game Pass. I think it may still be on Game Pass. I'm not sure, but I have it on Steam as well. But I've never completed it on Steam. I don't think. I think I may have tried it when I got my Steam Deck to go. Ooh, that looks pretty on a handheld. But that's all I think I did with it. But they're very repetitive games, but they're very satisfying. When you've got all the slashing and shooting and it's all just quick button presses. Yeah, good games.
The original Metal Gear Solid came out 25 years ago.
Hence the remake.
So it ties in quite well with when the
hiding in a box was never so much fun before that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it was so good though, that game, because there wasn't. It was before what's it called? Double Agent. Well, Splinter Cell. It was before Splinter Cell. So you didn't really have any 3D stealthy kind of games that worked so well before that.
Like you knock on the wall and stuff like that to distract people when you could throw stuff. And then
you could do something and then hide in a box. And then they'd be like, "Oh, there's a box here," and you just go, "Ha!"
They never check the box. Luckily, you could smoke in it, couldn't you?
Yes, and then also there was loads of secrets. Everything from various frequencies you could call to how you defeated what's his name, Psycho Mantis was very clever. You had to put it into control with port 2.
Your memory card, wouldn't he?
So it was so in depth and had this big epic story, and it was just fantastically done. And I don't know, has it? I don't know if I would want to go back and play it now, because I do have a rose tinted glasses with it, I think.
See, I love the Metal Gear. I would play it again. I bought the PlayStation Classic, when that was one of the games on that. That was the first one I played, and didn't complete it, but because I didn't have the console that long. But I did enjoy playing it again, because bringing back those memories. You didn't have to change the disc either. It was all on the console.
Yes, it was a 2-disc game, wasn't it?
Also, another games that came out. Fable 2 came out 15 years ago today, which I had the original Fable, never played the follow-up. And I know
sequel was very good. Sequels are very good, yeah. I think it was 3 that was not as well received, but still good.
And is it Fable 4 that's coming out?
Well, they're just it's a reboot, so they're just calling it Fable. Yes, there's a sort of trailer for it with Richard Ayoade.
Ayoade, yeah.
That's I found completely funny. Yeah, I mean, they had the character kicking a chicken, and just the NPC going, ugh.
And the last game I'm going to mention is Borderlands. Came out 13 years ago.
The first one.
So,
How many years ago?
13, 1 3.
13. Okay.
So, which I've played. Yeah, and the other thing I like that is it is cooperative. It is hard to find games that are local cooperative couch co-op games nowadays. So it's a game that I have played. Also played the newer ones because you can play that online with your friends as well. So
the one I played the most was Borderlands 2. I think I've got a character in that was up to the level cap. I think. I think it later in its life on Xbox it became a bit flooded because people could mod their saves and whatnot and give themselves loads of golden keys quite easily. I know on PC it's literally if you play on PC you just joined an online game, people would just drop legendary weapons for you, and so you pick them up, leave the game. Thank you very much. But it was still hilarious and great. Obviously, the best mission was always shooting McShooterson or shooting McShootface.
It was a funny game, wasn't it? As well, like, there was a lot of stuff in there which were actually like a lot of games try at comedy and they fail. But I think Borderlands was one of those games that actually there was some genuine funny bits.
Yeah, one and two were very funny. 3, I could never find any. There was never any friends playing it. I think they played it but by the time I got it, nobody was playing it. But apparently so I haven't got very far in that. Apparently the comedy in that didn't land as well with lots of people.
I have played it. Yeah. I don't think it's as funny as the first two.
But no, great game. The first one was great, but the second one improved a lot.
Anyway, Duncan, there are loads of games which I could go on, but I'm just
we have on a shorter episode because we haven't got Tom here and we're not doing a special. Our shorter episode has still got to an hour.
I know exactly. And next week we're hoping Tom will be able to make it.
Yeah, I think we were going to do a
Halloween
horror special.
Yeah, so
we will be looking at scary games and
sort of the history of scary games, our favourite horror games, current horror games that we're playing or whatever, maybe. But
I think that's what I might look for on the PS2. See if I can find some.
Silent Hills.
Yes,
Resident Evil.
We'll keep that secret till next week.
I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah, there are a lot of games.
There's a lot of good ones, so I think we'll have plenty to talk about then as well.
I know. I got ones I want to talk about now, but I'll save it for next week. Anyway, Duncan, it's been a pleasure.
Everybody like and subscribe and all that stuff. Apparently, YouTube are bringing in when the people on the video say like and subscribe, the little subscribe button will flash and sparkle or something like that. So yeah, anyway, do that.
Keep saying it then.
All the links. Apparently, it will be up to 6 times for video, but only between three times between each 3 minutes between each time.
Okay,
so you can't just go like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. But
you can't
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Right. Bye.